Hello everyone, Cindy here with Monarch Mom DIY. Thank you so much for joining me today on my channel where I love to bring you the best tips and tools for creating beautiful home decor on a budget. I want to wish all the mothers out there a wonderful, happy Mother's Day. Today I have 6 more patriotic farmhouse home decor for you, so let's get crafting. For today's first DIY, I am making a patriotic flower box using 3 of these wood crates from Dollar Tree, as well as 2 of these trio hanging arrow signs from Dollar Tree as well. So the first thing I did is, with my pliers, remove the staples and the ribbons from the signs, and then I did spray some water to try to scrape off the glitter, and then just decided to peel off those paper signs from that side. It was a lot easier to do. Then with 3 of my arrows, I'm using my Waverly chalk paint in the color Lacquer. You could also use crimson if they don't have lacquer at your store. And I am doing just the front and the sides a little bit. Then with my other 3 arrows, I'm using my white Waverly chalk paint and doing the same thing, just giving them 1 coat of the chalk paint on the front and the side edges. With my 3 wood crate boxes, I'm using the Waverly chalk paint color Ocean. I am loving it for patriotic crafts this season, and it's kind of a grayish blue, but you can use any blue paint that you might have on hand. Because I'm going to be gluing these 3 boxes together, I will not be painting the sides that will be glued. So once those are dry, you can see I also did paint the inside. That's optional, of course. And then just using some of my Titebond wood glue, I'm gluing the sides together and then using a couple of my clamps from Dollar Tree just to hold them tightly together until that glue is dry. Then once we have all 3 of these glued together and clamped, we will set that aside for a little while until they're dry. Then going back to our arrows that we painted, you can see I have them I have them lined up on my little ruler there. And then I'm going to put some wood glue on the back side of my wood crate trio. And then we're just going to glue that across the bottom of our arrows, and that's going to hold everything together. Next, I'm taking 3 of these wood stars that are from Walmart, giving those a coat of white Waverly chalk paint on the front and the side edges as well. We're going to paint all 3 of those to go across our blue crates once those are dry. So now just taking some hot glue, you can see I'm putting glue everywhere except for the little top part of the star that sticks up past the crate, and just gluing each star in the center of the blue crate, getting those lined up, and then our planter is done. Now I'm going to take some floral foam. I happen to have 1 little brick here that I'm going to cut into thirds so I can put a small piece in the bottom of each of my crates. I am going to go ahead and put some hot glue on the bottom side of the floral foam so that it stays inside the crate well, and we'll do that to all 3. And then we'll go ahead and just start adding the florals. I'm going to use some of the blue wildflowers that I love, some little white flowers, and then some greenery. And here's our finished flower box. I love it. I love the bright colors for Memorial Day and the 4th of July. I plan on keeping this out all summer. You would want to spray it with some clear spray if you're going to put it outside. DIY number 2 is going to be a USA map sign using just a wood sign, this color your own United States map, some blue and white star paper that I printed from a Google image search. So again, using the lacquer, I have this sign that obviously I sanded whatever was on it off, and I'm going to paint the top and bottom sections with the lacquer chalk paint, and then we'll also paint the middle section with white just to give it the illusion of the American flag with the red and white stripes. Next, I'm going to use this USA wood color your own map here, but I'm going to apply some Mod Podge to the front of it, and then I will link in the description box where I printed this blue paper with white stars. I just did this on my printer, and I'm going to Mod Podge it to the front of the little USA map. Once I get it all smoothed out, I will do another layer of Mod Podge over top. I will say that when I was rubbing it with the brush a lot and then with my fingers, it did kind of, I don't know, make it look a little dirtier where the stars are, but I kind of liked that because I was kind of going for an older vintage look. Then, because this is such an intricate shape, I'm using my mini sander to do downward strokes until I get most of the paper off from around the edges. You might have to use an X-Acto knife, but I was able to get it all off using my little sander. And here's what it looks like. Next, taking some of these laser cut wood stars from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use those with the Scrabble tiles. But first, I'm going to just hot glue my USA map now to the center of my red and white box sign. Once I had that down, I wanted to add a little bit of whimsy, so I'm using a Sharpie and I'm doing little squiggles and dots just to kind of outline the USA map and then also give a little bit of an edging to the box sign as well. Also notice that I did not put the USA map right in the center. I did put it down a little bit. I wanted to leave some space so that I can add a messy bow to the top at the very end. I did also do some little stitching marks around my Scrabble tiles, again, just to give some more dimension and make it pop out. I'm going to put a hot glue dot in the center of each of these wood laser cut stars and apply those first to the USA map, and then I will glue the Scrabble letter in the center of each star. Next, I'm going to take some of my patriotic colored ribbons that I have on hand. I'm going to cut them at about 8 inches, but you'll see some of them I am going to cut a little bit shorter. I'll cut 2 pieces of each ribbon, and I'm just going to make a messy crisscross bow. So there you see I've got the wired burlap ribbon with the red and white zigzag. Then I have a couple others that I've picked up at Dollar Tree, or I think Hobby Lobby maybe was that red, white, and blue one in their summer crafts section. But just go through your ribbon, pick out some that will kind of all coordinate, and then you're going to just lay them like this in a wide X, going back and forth until you have all of them layered. And then I'm going to use a zip tie. That is actually the easiest way. I just get my zip ties at Dollar Tree, and we'll cinch it all together in the center. You can also see that some of my ribbons, I'm not layering them exactly right on top of each other. I want to try to layer them so that you can see all of the ribbons. Then just stick your zip tie underneath and then cinch it right there in the center, kind of fluffing it as you go. And this is a super easy way to make a messy, cute bow. Now, when I set it on top here, you can see some of the ribbons are a little long because they're floppy, and so I am going to trim a lot of the ribbons, either just at an angle, or some of them I am going to dovetail. And all that means is you fold the ribbon in half, like you see me doing here, and cut downward towards the middle of the ribbon. So just keep playing with it, trim your ribbons, and then once you have it how you want it, then you can glue it to your project. Then as a final touch, I'm just going to add a couple star-shaped buttons from Walmart to the center of our bow, and here is our finished product. This can hang on a wall or it can sit on a shelf or a table, and I just love it. It just makes me so happy. If you're stopping by my channel for the first time today, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. I hope you'll consider sticking around by hitting that subscribe button. And if you are a returning viewer or subscriber, welcome back and thank you so much for your support of my channel. For DIY number 3, I'm going to make a patriotic pennant garland for my mantle using a few products from Magnolia Design Company, our Freedom Mini stencils, and this garland banner already made. Now the Freedom Minis comes with 12 small square stencils, so I'm picking out which 10 I'm going to use for my pennant garland. This is also from Magnolia, and it's already sewn, very great quality. It's already strung on the jute twine, and they're stitched in place so they don't move around. Anyway, I'm just marking on the back of my stencils what they are so that I can put them back on the right sheet. And because I'm stenciling on fabric, I do not need to fuzz my stencils ahead of time. I'm just centering them and pressing them down securely. And I'm actually even using chalk paste. I'm not using ink. This is not going to be outside. It's not going to get wet. So I'm okay using chalk paste. I am using some very small pieces of cut apart squeegee because I am doing blue and red paste close to each other. So I'm doing 4 stencils at a time, only because that's how many I can fit across my craft space. I'm going to do all my blue on those 4 stencils, and then I'm going to come back and do my red. And my favorite part of stenciling, the peel and reveal. You can just see how great these images are. And you can see I made a couple mistakes, maybe getting the red and blue inks mixed a little bit, going off the stencil, but I just love how easy these are to use. Here's my next 4 stencils. Again, using red and blue on different parts, using my small cut apart squeegees. And again, for the peel and reveal, love these. And now I'm going to take these to my sink and rinse them off with cool water. I just rub where the paste is, and these clean up pretty easily. Now my last 2, my 9th and 10th pieces of my pennant garland. Again, going to do the same thing. Red, then blue. Then we'll peel them off to finish up our banner. Next, I'm going to take some red gingham and blue gingham fabric that I believe are from Dollar Tree. I'm going to cut little strips that are 2 squares wide, and then I'm just ripping it. I'm going to end up using, I think, 5 or 6 pieces of each of the colors. Actually 6, I think. And we're going to be tying these in knots between our pieces of our pennant garland. And then I'm coming back to those same ribbons that I used for the USA map sign, and I'm cutting long strips. I'm going to cut 3 pieces of each of 3 ribbons for a total of 9. So now you can see between each flag of my garland, I'm going to just put one of these strips of either the blue and white check or the red and white check, and I'm going to tie it in a knot and just kind of let it hang down between the flags there. I'm going to do blue and red every other, and then I believe on the outside I did a blue and a red on the far right and on the far left. Then once I get these fabric strips in here, I'm going to start adding in my ribbons. I'm just going to use 1 ribbon in each space. And here's my finished garland hanging on my mantle. I love it so much, and I love how adding the ribbon and the fabric strips just really adds a lot to this pennant garland. If you love budget home decor DIY videos like this, please consider giving this video a thumbs up, as that lets YouTube know that you are enjoying my content, and they will then show it to more and more viewers. For DIY number 4, we're going to make some firecrackers out of a pool noodle and also using some nautical rope, and this sign that will be the base for our firecrackers. So with this 1 pool noodle, I was able to cut 3 pieces that were 18 inches for the largest one. The next one I'm cutting 14 inches, and then that will leave about 10 inches left of our pool noodle. So a 4-inch difference between our smallest and medium, and a 4-inch difference between our medium and our largest one. Now, I would suggest using white pool noodles for this if you can find them. You will see why, or I guess you could also use red, but I've found the red is kind of pinkish looking, but green pool noodles is what I had on hand. So I stuck a mop handle, I think that's what that is, through there, through the hole, so that I could paint. So painting these with chalk paint is not the easiest thing in the world. I know you can't use spray paint, it eats the foam. But I will say, even though I painted with chalk paint and sprayed with clear matte spray, the paint still comes off. So use white pool noodles if you can. You saw me paint some white wood stars there. We're going to be using those in a moment. So once I painted my pool noodle white and then a little bit of ocean blue at the top, I'm just taking some red satin ribbon that I have on hand, I believe from Michael's or Walmart, and I am going to glue 2 long strips to each pool noodle. I'm going to wrap it around the bottom and then go back up the side. So it will look like our white firecracker has 4 red stripes on it. I was thinking about painting the red stripes, and then I thought, you know what? This is going to be a lot easier just to use this red ribbon that I have on hand. So think about that. Think about what you have. Maybe you find a red pool noodle and you use white ribbon. Once I had all 3 of these made, I'm just hot gluing the base to this wood square sign that I had. You'll also see there on my medium firecracker, I glued 2 of the white stars. My smallest one, I glued 1, and the largest one, I glued 3 wood stars to the top. You can also see that I did a different ribbon, kind of where the white and blue paint met on the pool noodle. Then using some nautical rope, I'm putting some hot glue on there, putting it down in the hole, and this is going to be kind of the fuse of the firecracker. And I really love how these turned out. They're large. I only used 1 pool noodle, a little bit of nautical rope, paint, some wood stars, and some ribbon. For DIY number 5, I'm going to be making a tiered decor stand using tumbling tower blocks, 2 of these larger round signs from Dollar Tree, and 1 of these wood circles from Walmart, and a glass bottle recycled from some salad dressing. So taking 2 of these cardboard signs from Dollar Tree, I started removing some of the glitter, and then I realized I really didn't need to do that because I'm going to take some wood glue and I'm going to glue these together picture sides on the inside. So like I said, using a bunch of wood glue, I'm going to line these 2 square signs up just to make a thicker, more sturdy surface for the base of our tiered tray. I am going to use my clamps again from Dollar Tree. These are really awesome for holding things together until glue dries. You've already seen me use them a couple times in this video. So if you don't have these clamps from Dollar Tree, I suggest you get them. I have this size and I also have the smaller ones. Then just using my scraper there, I removed the tags. Now for my larger base, I'm using 46 tumbling tower blocks to go around. And for my smaller circle, I'm using 26. So here I'm using half of the top 26 and half of the bottom 46, if that makes sense. I'm going to be painting these red and white. So these are all the ones I'm painting with the Lacquer Waverly chalk paint, and then I'm going to paint the rest with the white chalk paint. Now the way I paint these is I do the top, and then once the top is dry, I do all the rest of the sides, and so I can hold on to them while they are drying or while I'm painting them. Now coming back to our 2 wood circles, which will be our 2 trays, I am using that Waverly chalk paint in the color Ocean again. And I will also say that once these were dry, I did paint the top, the bottom, and the edges. I did use a Mod Podge just to seal everything in. I used a gloss Mod Podge this time, and I did kind of like the shiny texture it gave, but again, just use whatever you have on hand. I also have 4 of these wood little candle cups. I believe these are from Hobby Lobby that I'm going to use as feet for my tiered tray just to make it stand up a little higher. Now you can see I've got my base and I have all those 46 red and white tumbling tower blocks lined up. I'm showing hot glue here, but I will say that I did end up going back. I think because of the gloss Mod Podge, I did need to use E6000 so that these had a permanent bond. And with the E6000, you do have a little bit more time to kind of move them around if you need to. But if you're going to make one of these, I would definitely say line all the blocks up, even though it takes time, so that you know they're all going to fit before you start gluing them down. Same thing here with my smaller circle, my top layer. I'm using E6000 here and lining up those 26 tumbling tower blocks. This project did take a little bit of time, but I have to say of this video, I love this one the most. Of all the projects I made in this video, I just love how it turned out. And then I glued the feet on once my tumbling tower blocks were completely dry. This is my bottom layer turned upside down, and I'm gluing these 4 candle cups just at basically north, south, east, and west, and then we will let those dry as well. Now here is our top section turned upside down. You can see I'm using E6000 on the lid of this salad dressing bottle that I did spray paint white. I had set it down and marked with a pencil about where the center would be before I put the E6000 on. Here I'm just kind of using my ruler just to check and make sure it's pretty close to the middle. I can move it around a little bit if I need to. Now that that's dry, I have my bottom tray turned back over the right way, and I'm again gluing the bottom now of that jar or that bottle to that bottom part of our tray. Again, using the ruler to make sure I have it pretty close to the center, and then just let that dry completely. I did decide to add some jute twine around kind of the base where the tumbling tower blocks are glued to the circle, just to hide any excess glue and just give it a different texture and a finished look. And here's what our adorable little patriotic tiered tray looks like with nothing in it first. I'm just going to show you the tiered tray, and then I'll show you what it looks like styled with just a couple of items. Please check the description box below the title of this video. That will give you the list of all the supplies I've used in these projects, as well as links to my Magnolia website and my Facebook page. For my last project today, I'm going to make this red, white, and blue summer porch sign using a stencil set again from Magnolia and this large piece of wood. I got mine at Hobby Lobby, but you can get these at Home Depot or Lowe's as well. You can see that I did paint my base coat of my sign with, again, that Waverly chalk paint in the color Ocean, and then I did spray it with a clear matte spray. I'm going to be using white and red chalk paste to do my stencils on that sign. I'm just going to start with white for the word hello. I'm leaving a little bit of space, and then I'm going to stack the letters to spell summer, and we'll go every other letter, red, white, red, white, red, white. And here's my finished sign. You can see I just took a scarf from Dollar Tree and tied it around that space between hello and summer. And this is going to look great all summer on my porch. Thanks again so much for joining me today. Please let me know in the comments which of these projects was your favorite, and we'll see you next time. Take care.